her when she talked about the sex, when she put up the sex video. I was like, okay, I had an issue where we had gone to a friend of a friend's house, and she's got daughters. I've got sons. I've only got sons. So we went to her house, and her eldest daughter, who's about a year older than my son is 9 actually, and the oldest daughter is 10, and he's very, I don't know, well, he just seems like he doesn't know anything. Well, I don't know if he knows or he doesn't, but we've had conversations where he seems so blank about a lot of things when it comes to relationships and all those things. He knows about good touch, bad touch, because we've talked about it. So when we went to this lady's house, I saw how, you know how we girls act when we see a guy we like. So the girl was always close to my son, wanting to sit next to my son. She would come. She was actually literally crying that no, she wanted to be next to him. So before we left, the girl had asked the mother if he could sleep over, and I flipped. You know, I was like, there is no way. I've already seen you quite fast go in my head. Well, I didn't say that out loud, but in my head, I was like, no, man, I've seen these tendencies are not, you know. I was like, no, my son cannot sleep over because I don't just, the mother was like, no, why? They're kids, you know, and it's okay if they sleep over. And I said, no, I don't think, you know, they're only girls here, and my kids are boys, so I don't think it's right. So when I came, I was thinking, did I overreact as a mom? Because she seemed like it was okay, you know. So but I addressed her. I told her, I was like, you know, sometimes these kids know too much. You know, I didn't want to tell her your child seems a bit forward, but I was like, no, these kids know too much, more than we think. If you sit down and ask them what relationships are, they will tell you. If you ask them even what sex is, they will tell you. So him being 9, and well, we haven't really gone into the detail of sex because I want to also move with his pace. I just don't want to give him, and I asked Temmi to say, what is a lot of information? What is little information? So it would be great to just hear from moms.
Thank you. Okay. How many of us have spoken to our kids about appropriate and inappropriate touch? Maybe we should start from there. Do your kids know what is a good touch and what is a bad touch? Okay, I can't say if I don't see you, so maybe you give a thumbs up or something. There's so many people I cannot see. Okay, so if that has happened, your child will know, or we assume that our child would know when a touch is not right. But do they know that a touch is not right when it's coming from another child? That's another thing. Will they be aware that, okay, this, thank you to me, will they know that this is not the right touch if it's coming from another child? Okay, I'm going to leave this open because it's mom's talking. So I'm just going to be quiet and let moms talk. Then I'll put in my 2 bits. Okay, who's going to go first? We have here moms with older kids. Let me say that we have, those are like me and Isabel, our kids are still young. We have moms with kids in university. But I'm so glad we're all here. You can tell us from your experience, or we can just, listen to each other now. And don't worry that Pastor Temmi is here. This is just moms talking. She's not going to be pastor today. Hey, Pastor Temmi. Okay. Auntie Connie.
So, if I can go first.
Yes, Auntie Temmi. Someone is talking. Thank you.
You go ahead.
Okay.
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
Well, I suppose from my experience and point of view, the earlier you can talk to your children about just even the differences between girls and boys, because I think that's where it starts for them to understand that there's differences between girls and boys, and you start speaking to them as young as possible about privacy, who can see you when you are naked or when you're not dressed, appropriate and inappropriate touch, You know, it's sort of like the bikini talk. Anything under the bikini is not for anyone else to touch. And I think it's important to emphasize, as you say, Auntie Temmi, that it's not only from older people, but also even your friends. You know, because these days we do have to speak to them around same gender relationships. You know, so just thinking that, oh no, it's only girls, and therefore it's harmless fun. You know, things have advanced now such that it's not like that, and we know that people exhibit, you know, feelings for the other sex or whatever from an early age. So this notion of it's just girls and therefore it's okay is not okay. In my house, sleepovers are no. We don't do sleepovers, and it's just the rule. We just don't do sleepovers, whether it is at a girl's house or at a boy's house. We have obviously, you know, with the pressures that children will put you through in terms of you know, really trying to beg and convince and persuade that, oh mommy, but I really want to do a sleepover. So we've decided that we will allow them one sleepover each. So they've done their sleepovers, and you know, you obviously do that with a family that you are comfortable with, but also understanding that it is just for you to be able to experience a sleepover once, and that's it. Now these days, you know, it's even if that subject comes up, they know that they even say no to their friends because it's just something that's not done. Cross-gender sleepovers, I think, are even worse. So I can understand, Istanbul, you'd be mortified. and in fact, I think what you're raising is important, because we tend to think that girls are more vulnerable and girls are the ones that are prone to attack, and we don't take or become conscious to protect the boys. And it's important that boys actually can also be preyed on, and you know, they can feel abused by other people. So very important. Maybe let me leave it there.
Okay, Nike.
Good point. All good point. I was actually gonna I guess follow up with what I believe it Isabella
It's the
talked
bell.
about. Isabel, right? I'm sorry. But you know, my kids are a little bit older, but I remember starting back when they were much younger. I so much believe in the mother instinct thing, and if I'm visiting a friend and I'm not comfortable, I always react on that mother instinct. Sometimes I'm known to be a little bit overboard, but
Helicopter mom.
yeah, but I try to kind of find a balance. But knowing what our society is right now, I feel better the way I sometimes feel overboard. Because even if you're comfortable, or if your mother instinct, so to say, says, oh, this is a comfortable situation for my children, but you just don't know anymore. Your most trusted neighbor might just not be the right person to kind of interact with your family, or especially your young children. And I kind of like I think the last um, speaker said something about, sometimes it doesn't even have to be a girl, it could be anybody. And it's so true. We live in such a interesting, for want of a better word, interesting time now that um, you can't go wrong with your mother instinct, no matter what the situation is. Just my 2 pence.
Thank you. Someone else? Okay, we can have a discussion if I'm the only one talking. It's a mom speak. I'm just, coordinating. Let me see which moms are here. Oh, everybody's taking off their faces. Oh, good, I know you. Sister Kemi, you want to say something? Even if your face is not showing. Hello?
Sorry, I think they've covered, Kuni and Nika have covered it. What they said, that mother instinct is very important. If you're not comfortable with the relationship, with your child and other friends, don't just monitor it. With my kids as well, we avoid sleepovers. I think only Auntie Temmi, Falakemi comes to my house and Tessa. And apart from that, we don't do sleepovers. They don't go for sleepovers. And very few people come over for sleepovers as well. And talking about sex from a young age, the kids are curious as well. They ask questions. Don't blow off their questions, even though, answer them. Find appropriate ways, child appropriate ways, words that they can understand to explain those questions. Jade has asked me stuff about, so what does it mean to be a lesbian? What does virginity mean? What does somebody was raped mean? I mean, I was shocked when she asked me, like, I think that's last 2 years ago, that what does rape mean? And I had to have a conversation with her about rape. So when they ask questions, let's be honest with them about giving them the correct answers, but obviously in age appropriate manners. So these conversations are very important for us to have with our children, because we live in a totally different world than we grew up in. They know so much more than we do. When I talk to her about, tells me her friends have boyfriends. These are 10-year-olds, and I'm like, boyfriends for what? I said, no, yeah, they have a boyfriend. She says, when can I date? I'm like, when? After university. She said, that's too old. How do I wait after university to start dating? I'm like, yeah, you can't date until you finish school. But we just talk about, you just need to talk to your kids and just be open with them. Let them feel free to ask you anything. Feel comfortable asking you even the most awkward questions. Yeah, I think that's my 2 cents.
Okay, so we've heard from moms with young kids, we've heard from moms with teenagers, we've heard from moms with kids in university. Can I ask, which we read was the video about? At what age do you talk to these kids? At what age? If the child hasn't asked, okay, so Jade asked a mom, my dear was like, don't tell me, she doesn't want to know, but I have had to, like when we're driving and we're hearing things about rape or something, I've had to explain what rape is. But at what age do you sit down and say, okay, let's have this sex conversation? Can I hear from someone as a boy? Yvonne. Because from my own, I have a girl, so I know when I think I'm going to do it. But for those who have a boy or who have boys,
I think I'm here because I want to know how to have that conversation with him at that level. The only thing
okay.
I've been able to talk about is, the appropriate touch, the right touch, the wrong touch, and somebody's doing certain things to you, just know that that is not right, and all of that. And I see how he also protects his privacy, especially when he's taking a bath and I walk into the bathroom, he freaks out. He's like, you're not supposed to be here. Or something. So I had that deep conversation with him.
Okay. Who else had this conversation with a young child? Nika, I know your kids are, I don't know how old your boy is now, but I know they're much older.
So so I had the conversation with my son when it was about I would say in middle school, which is about 11, 12.
Why?
And the
Why did you
reason,
have that conversation then?
okay, so when he was younger than that, when he was in elementary school, it wasn't what, I guess the best word for me to say, I didn't see him as being interested in that side of the attraction, the girls. It wasn't like that. It was so much interested in sitting down and playing games and stuff like that. So I felt, oh, we're good for now. So when I had the talk was when I realized that, okay, is having more, kind of friends that are a little more worldly. So I called him and we had the discussion. It was, of course, like any normal boy, Mom, what are you talking about? Oh my God. But I just kind of basically let him know, one, how important it is to respect girls, how important it is. And I use the word like you wouldn't want someone to just, kind of like playing with girls and stuff like that, even if you don't really understand what it is you're trying to do, but you got to respect girls. You got to do this, you got to do, just kind of the talk. From the beginning, it was a little bit awkward in a way because I wasn't prepared for it that much. But for my girl, it was a little bit better because I started out earlier with her. But for Aya today, I think when it was getting ready to leave high school, I was more serious about it. I even bought a condom. Like, some people, this is condom on the table. If you go to college and you think it's okay to do this, it's okay to do that, remember that girl, you are kind of messing up with her. You don't do that. You got to respect yourself. You got to respect the girl, that kind of a thing. Because it's kind of crazy when they're in college. They think they know it all. But I think we're in a place now that I think he understands. It's even telling me, Mom, right now I don't even think I'm ready for any relationship. I'm serious about my study. And I'm thinking, now when do I start talking about, okay, you need to have a girlfriend? So I don't know. Anyway, so that's just my experience with my boy.
Okay, we've got more moms there. Zach, have you had this talk? You've got both boy and girl.
With my older one, when I tried to have that talk with him, he told me I already knew everything.
Yo.
So he just said, well, they've already taught them at school. Mom, I know all the things you want to tell me. We've already done all that. So with the little ones, I haven't had a proper chat with them yet. I've only spoken about good touch, bad touch. We don't do sleepovers. I think with the older one, we'd only keep it with family, cousins, and people like that. And now with the younger ones, with us being the only ones in Joburg and no family around, we just don't do sleepovers. And thankfully, they haven't even tried to ask me about any of that. So I'm bracing myself to get to that point where I have the talk with the twins. So I'm not ready for that yet, I think.
Okay.
I think it's time, though.
I know.
I think you should.
They're 8.
I think you should.
I think I'm using the lockdown as an excuse because they don't go to school. They're always at home. And I think I'm using the fact that we are just sheltered in the house for now to keep it going for as long as possible. I think that's what's going on in my head right now.
But
maybe also it's good to just weave it into conversation and go with their own levels of curiosity. So if maybe they haven't asked anything that gives you an opportunity to then get into that subject, you can't just call them, sit them down, and say, "I'm now having a lecture," because then it won't go down well. So you also test when the time is right for yourself.
Yeah, I think when I gauge their maturity level, they 8, but they just have not asked me anything. They don't seem to be curious about anything. They're less worldly compared to their older brother who just knew everything much quicker.
you think, let me ask, do you think he actually knows everything, or because I know him, I just want to have that conversation with a woman? I'm not having that conversation.
I think he does. We did eventually have that talk because when I converse with him, I'll ask him, so what is it that you know? Let's talk. And at least with him, he's very open. He talks. He tells me even about the talks that they have in the teens services, talking about courtship, and all. So he finds that phenomenon quite strange as well, the courting one, because he says he doesn't understand how you're going to court someone for so long and you're not ready to get married. He says he doesn't want to get married he wants to get married once he's over 30. So you're going to be courting this person for 20 years or 10 years. So we're getting there.
Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, I'm seeing more moms. Even if I don't see your face, I know you're there. Nampilo, do you want to add to this conversation? Thank you. And you've got a girl that's about the age where we're talking about. Have you had this conversation with her? Nampilo? Okay, we're waiting for Nampilo. Let me see. Lamani. Adna, I don't know. Tato, is that you or your mom? Your mom said she was going to join as well. So I'm not sure who is there.
It's both of us.
Okay. Okay, not from Tato. Tato, you are learning. Your child is not old enough. Okay. You want to add to this conversation for us?
Okay.
No, you have to unmute your mic.
Hey, I'm sorry I've been late. Just electricity issues. Actually, I tried to speak to Caesar about these issues, but he always tells me he knows everything. When I try to discuss, he runs away, and I can see that he has friends outside that are actually trying to equip him. But I always tell him that it's important to start in the family, within the family. But he's not open at all. He isn't around life.
Could it be, and I'm asking, well, I think probably, if you have a boy, it might be, especially when they're already a teenager, it might be a bit uncomfortable. Toy title, you've got 2 boys, 2 girls. Do you want to add to this?
Hi everyone. Good afternoon. I have 2 boys, 2 girls, 2 teenagers, and 2 adults, young adults. My take on it is that children are different. There are no 2 children that are the same. My teenagers, they are twins. It's a boy and a girl. And the girl is a bit more knowledgeable about stuff than the boy. The boy would not find it easy to have conversations like this. I've had it with him and I've had it with her when they were much younger. But like I said, it depends on the child. You can't use the same tactics with all children. They're all different. They're all coming from different places. We do sleepovers, it's not a problem, but it will be sleepovers with parents that I know, that I'm comfortable with. With regards to the talk about sex, like somebody said earlier, these children know a lot. They know quite more than, sometimes they know more than we do, or more than we give them credit to. But that doesn't stop us having that conversation with them. At least just to be sure that they know and we're not assuming. Thank God it's not being too challenging with them. The younger ones, they don't seem that keen, at least for now. So just we continue to pray that yes, they won't be keen until later. The older ones, the older girl, she's not very keen either. Funny enough, she's just started a new relationship, but it's still just a relationship of boy and girl, at least. So it's just to be open to have that conversation. If they're asking questions, to answer them. Don't fob them off. Don't try and impose your own will or your own knowledge on them. Sit down and have that conversation with them. Listen to them. Know what they really asking you, because sometimes they will ask you questions, but they're not coming out to say, this is what I'm asking. They might say, oh, a friend, or maybe when they're having a conversation, you just hear the chat in the car and you assume that it's a friend. It might be themselves that are going through that challenge. So always be open. Always have an open door with your children. I say to my children, I'm not your friend, I'm your mother. But that doesn't mean we can have a conversation with you. So always have that open conversation with them. Give them the opportunity to talk to you and to listen to them. Know that they know what they're trying to talk to you about. Don't impose in any way, or don't try and tell them, because I'm your mother, you have to do it the way I say, or because I'm your parents, you have to do it the way I say. It doesn't work like that. The world we are in now, it's a different place. So that's the little I can contribute to it. But it's a good conversation. It's good to listen to those on the road or those starting.
Thank you. Okay, she says she's ready to talk now. Is your mic working now, Numpilo? You want to try again? Oh, we still can't hear you. We still can't hear you. Anyway, keep trying, and when it comes up, you can just join us again. Okay. So how much should we? Oh, are you ready, Numpilo? I still can't hear it. When we're ready to talk about this, or when you have this conversation, exactly how much do we say? Exactly how much do we say? So you want to have a conversation about sex with a 10-year-old. Let's even say 10-year-old. Exactly how much do we say? Okay, we'll have to ask mommies whose kids are over 10. Because everybody's just gone silent. Let me see. Let me look up Pastor Kemi again. Auntie Connie. No, you've spoken before. I'm looking for Auntie Melwa. How much are you going to say?
Auntie Temmi, I've got my hand up. I've got my hand up. And maybe it's just to add.
Okay.
Auntie Temmi.
Okay, I can see now.
I've got my hand up, and maybe it's just to add a question instead of answer. I'll let the other mummies answer. But the other way that this kind of question can come is asking about childbirth and having girls. Yes, the questions about childbirth and even conception and the actual process of giving birth. How do you guys handle that?
Oh, before somebody answers this, I need to one of this 8-minute video got a lot of response, but I don't think most of you watched it. Only 6 views, eh? And there are more than 20 people here. So only 6 views. You haven't actually watched it. You just saw the title. Hey, go and watch it, eh? And subscribe. Okay, so one of my friends sent this message, just from what Connie's saying now, that her daughter, the one in grade 7, came home. After they had the talk in school, 2 things came out from there. One was, she said, can she get pregnant without having sex? And because Mary got pregnant with Jesus without having sex. So she came home in a panic. After, I don't know what they said to them in the sex education. So she came home in a panic, like, sometimes she has been talking to a boy. Can she just get pregnant like that? And she actually said because Jesus was born without the mother having sex. That was the first question. And then the second one was about the things that we use for our period, tampons, pad and stuff. I'm saying this because a friend or our friends, I don't know which one, had told her certain things. So instead of being reassured by all the sex education in school, she came home frightened, because of what her friend has said, which is why we moms are having these conversations now for us to have this conversation with our kids at home, rather than let someone someone outside tell them. Okay, now we'll go to Auntie Connie. So, but this is also questions. Okay, so are you going to tell them? I think childbirth. Who's going to answer that one? Nombilo, you back now? I can see you at least. Do you want to try again? Just unmute. No, you're still muted. Your mic is where is the okay. Try again. We can't hear you. I don't know why we can't hear you. There's something with your mic. We can't hear you at all. We can't. Oh dear. You keep trying, hey? I don't know why. It's not coming through. Sorry. It's not coming through. Auntie Melwa, do you want to answer that question about childbirth?
It's quite a complex one, but I think the best way to tackle it is you have to be as open as possible, because you know, with children, once you leave out certain information, they always find a way to get that information. So it might come from a friend, it might come from school. So you probably have to be open as possible. That's the best I can say. I haven't had that conversation with Tessa yet, but obviously when we get there, I'll be as open as possible, because I've actually encouraged an open dialogue with her. And I've said to her, rather than getting information from outside, rather she gives me that information. I think you have to explain it as open as you can. And
I know. Yeah, go on.
And your age group, Siskone, does allow for you to explain it openly.
What do you mean your age group?
The children that she has, her kids.
Oh,
the
okay.
age of her, yeah.
Yeah, no, we've had that conversation as a number of times, and you know, obviously, as the children grow, you increase the level of detail that you give, and I think for me, what is important again is to be honest. It doesn't help sugarcoating anything, because you know there's videos that float around that children see, and you know things on social media, even if they don't come from maybe the people that they follow. There's adverts, there's a whole lot of material that just lands in front of the children, and therefore we need to be open and honest. You know, you cringe, but you must cringe pushing forward, and have as open and honest a conversation, such that you know they feel that they can come back to speak about the same subject with you over and over and over. They don't feel that it is taboo. They don't feel that it is something that should never be spoken about because of the way that you reacted or responded. You know, you can then go and vent to your friends if you need to afterwards. But it's important to just leave them with that sense that they can always approach you with anything, whether it's something that they've heard, that they've seen. They're not necessarily going to be reprimanded, but it's an opportunity for you to teach and for them to learn.
Ooh, all this talking to the kids and saying exactly what it is.